Now this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is the D31 case by Jonsbo. It is probably one of the coolest mini ATX cases that I've ever seen. I found this case while I was hunting for a final resting place for my test dummy computer, and once I saw this PC case, I knew that I had to build a computer in one. The D31 case has support for up to 8 fans, and it can even fit a 360mm radiator on the top. And with a perforated top, bottom, back, and front, you can get some wild cooling inside of here. And all thanks to a power supply support bracket that goes up and down, it makes it so that you are able to fit some of the larger graphics cards in here without a problem. And by far, the coolest feature about this case is the fact that it comes with its very own built-in 8-inch monitor. Now this monitor is a 1280 by 800 resolution, and it has the display accuracy of a 27-inch 4K monitor. And what's even cooler than that is that this screen detaches. So you are able to remove the screen and put it wherever you would like on your desk, obviously within reason, because it will need to be connected to your graphics card so that you do get an image from this. But since you don't want it on your computer, you don't want this empty space, you do get a mesh front panel cover so that you can still have that super clean look that you would want from your computer. Now, I am super excited to start building a computer inside of this system because I'm using it as sort of a test drive, because I have been thinking about upgrading my computer, and I think that this might be the perfect case for me. So if this computer ends up looking super awesome inside of here, I might just have to build one for myself. So real quick, before I start throwing this computer together, let's go over the specs so that you guys know exactly what's inside the computer. It is going to be a 750 watt power supply, a very, very tiny ITX motherboard by Gigabyte. We do have a Ryzen 5 5600X, 1 terabyte NVMe storage, 32 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. We have a RTX 4070, which I love this graphics card, by the way, and 8 fans. Because this computer says it can have 8 fans inside of it, I want to try to put 8 fans in here because I want to see how well the airflow is, because if I'm going to use it for my computer, I want to know that the airflow is really, really good. So let's build, baby. So I was pretty shocked at how easy it was to build inside of this case. Now, it is a mini ATX case. It's not an ITX case, so you do have a little bit more room to work with. But before I turn this thing on, if this is a case that you are interested in, there are a couple things that I would like you to know that I figured out while building inside of it. First thing you need to do is pay attention to which CPU cooler you decide to put inside the system. This low profile cooler that I have on here made it impossible to put a rear exhaust fan. Now, if I would have gone with the traditional tower CPU cooler, we would have had enough space to get a rear exhaust fan on there. So instead of the 8 fans that it says you are able to use inside this system, we were only able to get 7 because we are missing that back fan. The next thing you need to pay attention to is when is it the right time to route the cables for your front display. Because if you decide to build your system and then you wait until the end to route the cables from your display all the way through the case and down the back and out, then you're gonna have a tough time getting through all those cables. It's best if you decide to do that first and then start building your system. And the last thing that I think that you need to know before you decide to purchase this case is that if you plan on using a 360mm radiator on the top of your case, you are not going to be able to have a front exhaust fan. The reason is you're going to have to drop your power supply cage lower to accommodate for the space for the radiator, which is going to take up the space for your front intake fan, which will also take up space for your GPU mount, because the lower that you drop this power supply, the less space that you're gonna have in the front. So you're gonna need to pay close attention to how long your graphics card is before you decide to buy this case, if you plan on also running a 360mm radiator on top. But now it is the first time to power this system on. Now I know that this system works because I've used it in 2 other videos. What I don't know is how well this front screen will look with it. So I don't have a monitor attached to it. We are going to be using this screen as our main display. I have it plugged in the back. The switch is on. Let's go ahead and hit that power button. Where is that power button? Right there. And see what happens. Okay, so we've got all the fans spinning, full system. Let's see what we get. Let's see if it works. Oh, there, it's sideways. It's sideways. Okay, but it works. Look at that. All right, let me go get my mouse and keyboard and let's fix the orientation and let's goof around with this before we decide to attach a monitor to it. Okay, so we flipped the screen. I got a mouse and keyboard on here. The display is working. Let's go ahead and play Modern Warfare on it. How goofy is this? Okay, so the picture actually, wow. Okay, so the picture actually looks really freaking good. The problem is that it's only 8 inches, so my old man eyes can't keep up with this. I can barely see anybody. I need like a 50-inch monitor in order to see anyone in this game. So this just isn't gonna work for me, but that doesn't mean it's not possible, and it doesn't mean you can't do it. You could absolutely take this with you and use this as your monitor, which would be terrible for me, but maybe perfect for you. What kind of FPS are we getting? Let me see. I can't. All right, so like 205 FPS, and this is at ultra settings. So this computer is just a beast. Let's see, what's the GPU temperature? Is only at 58, and CPU temperature is at 60. So this is looking good. I'm not getting any kills, I'm just running around, but this is fantastic. I mean, this is really an excellent system and a pretty sweet case. Now, let's go ahead and finish this up so that I can put something else on the front here. Again, Hogwarts Legacy just looks fantastic in this system. It's unbelievable, but I actually get a much better gameplay from this because I don't need to see people from an extremely far ways away. If this was the kind of game that you like to play, you could realistically take this system with you wherever you want because it's not that big, and just plug it in and play, because this actually detaches, so you could detach this and set it wherever and play games on your system as an all-in-one type unit. I love it. I think it's fantastic. I think that this is probably one of the coolest cases ever. So the original plan was to attach my monitor to the system and play around with it, but why? I've already done it. I already used this little 8-inch monitor to see everything that I need to see. So when we talk about the front LED screen, there are a couple different ways you could use it. You could use AIDA64 as a hardware monitoring software, so you could make sure that you're monitoring your GPU, CPU temps, fan speeds, whatever it is that you want to make sure you're paying attention to. You can run that software on this screen. You could use it as a second, third, fourth monitor depending on your setup, and you could put whatever you'd like on here. Or you can use it as the only monitor for the system. It all depends on what you would like to do with it. Now, when we talk about this system and if I would want it for my personal rig, well, that's gonna happen. I love this case. I think this case looks fantastic. And the only thing I dislike about this specific build is that it doesn't have any RGB. If you can't tell, I am a pretty big fan of RGB. So putting all these Lee & Lee fans inside of here, that sounds like a lot of fun to me. And I think this thing would look fantastic. Now remember, if you are somebody who is interested in this case, there are two different versions. There is the D31 and the D41, and the 41 is a mid-tower case. It offers a little bit more space and a little bit more room to work in, but me personally, I think that this small form factor is a wonderful computer, and I would love to build my computer in this. And the links to the mini ATX version and the mid-tower version will be in the description down below. Please feel free to check them out if there's something that you're looking into getting. In my opinion, this is an A+ case and you should go buy one. 8,610 people all over the world, hopefully having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video.